Hey guys, Victor here, coming at you with another deck profile, and for today's video we're going to be doing an updated Danger Dark World deck. Now this is going to be post the April 2025 Forbidden and Limited list, which means that we are going to be playing with 3 Danger Tsuchinoko and 3 Danger Jackalope. Now as for what that offers to the deck, it honestly doesn't really change all that much. It just means that we have 2 more Danger monsters to play around with, and fortunately for us these are, in my opinion, probably the best ones just because they always guarantee some kind of result. But the major thing that this deck got was that a lot of its enemies did receive hits, or in the form of being limited or being banned, as Abyss Dweller, gone, Dimension Shifter at 1, Druid Swarm, limited, and we couldn't be happier, right? So with that out of the way, let's jump straight into it. As always, we're going to be starting off with the monster lineup first, and we're of course going to be playing 3 of the best card in the deck, being 3 Genta, Gateman of Dark World. You discard it, you add the field spell to your hand, and just by discarding this card, you basically have free fodder for your field spell to activate, which means that you get to discard another Dark World card and then draw a card, and once this card is banished, it's able to bring itself back as long as you have a face-up Dark World card, which you will, because the field spell is, the gates of Dark World, so it's a Dark World card. And then from there, you can either bounce this card back to discard it again to be able to add another copy of gates, or you can use it for your Exceed or Link or Fusion fodder or whatever. But yeah, you gotta play 3 of this card. It's too insane not to. Then to go with our 3 Genta, we're playing 3 Reign-beaux, which, I mean, it's fine. You discard this card, then you get to search your deck for any level 5 or higher Dark World monster except itself, which, I mean, isn't really a restriction, right? Because we're never adding Reign-beaux with Reign-beaux, or we never want to add Reign-beaux with Reign-beaux, but adding Sillva or grapha is very much appreciated. And then, much like grapha, you're able to bounce your face-up Dark World monsters back to your hand to special summon this card from your grave. The only caveat is that they have to be level 7 or lower. So you can't go Reign-beaux for Reign-beaux or grapha for Reign-beaux or whatever, anything like that. It just has to be level 7 or lower, but once again, that doesn't really matter too much, although there are some situations where you would very much prefer, if you could, to bounce back like a grapha, right? But we just can't do that, so don't do it. And then for the final 3 of, we're playing 3 Snoww, which when you discard it, you get to search for any Dark World card. Really straightforward, right? That's it for the 3 ofs. And then for the 2 ofs, we're playing 2 of the OG grapha. So when this one's discarded, you're able to pop a card, which does actually matter for when you're trying to clear your opponent's board of cards like ceruli, which you will be playing and giving to them at some point. But the main power of grapha comes from the fact that, much like Reign-beaux, it's able to bounce your Dark World cards back to your hand. However, it doesn't have the level of restriction. You just can't bounce grapha for grapha, which, I mean, it's fine, it sucks sometimes, but it is what it is. But still, being able to just replenish your hand with cards like grapha and Reign-beaux just goes a long way in helping you amass resources to just ultimately just completely overwhelm your opponent. Then for the only other 2 of Dark World monster, we're playing 2 Sillva, Warlord of Dark World. This is one of those cards that I'm still a little bit iffy on if I want to play 2, just because with the loss of Druid Swarm, you can actually get away with just playing 1 of these, right? It's not very often that this card is going to be banished by your opponent, especially because there are so many other cards that they're probably going to hit with the Bistro beforehand, or at least even before you get to the point where you discard the Sillva, but it's still better to be safe than sorry, so we're still playing the 2. And what it does is when it's discarded, it comes back, but if your opponent discards it, it also loops them for 2 cards, so yeah, it's a little good. And then for the final Dark World monster, we're playing the 1 Ceruli Guru of Dark World, which is basically what allows us to get our bonus effects from all our Dark World cards, if they so happen to have any. As you discard it, you special summon it to your opponent's side of the field, then its effect activates to make you discard a card, and it's typically going to be Sillva, right? So that in turn means that your opponent is going to have some kind of body here which prevents them from using cards like Infinite Impermanence or whatever, and or even if you're playing a Kashtira player, right, you give them 1 of these and they can't summon anything, which pretty funny. But yeah, this is perfectly fine for for the Dark World ratios. I don't really think you need anything else. You could play a Brow, or I forget what the other one is called. It's a level, not gold, but I think it's Regent or something. Whatever, it's bad, don't play it. It's so bad I don't even know the name anymore. But as far as the Dark World cards, this is perfectly normal, I guess, and I wouldn't really change it all that much. Now for the Danger monster lineup, we are now going to be playing 3 Danger Tsuchinoko as well as 3 Danger Jackalope. They gave us 3, so we're going to be playing 3, and even though they're not level 4, these are still basically the only 2 that have a guaranteed outcome. of being able to put a body on the board, right? Because either the Jackalope or the Tsuchinoko will summon themselves off of the reveal effect, or they're going to be discarded and then summon a card either way. Like in the form of Tsuchinoko, it's coming down no matter what. And then in the form of Jackalope, either the Jackalope is coming down or another danger monster is going to be summoned out of your deck. And this is typically one of like the main ways that we have access to getting cards like Danger Bigfoot, which in turn allows us to go into our rank 8 plays for a little bit more freely, I guess. Which, I mean, it's not hard to go into ranked 8s, but any help is always going to be greatly appreciated, especially when we're trying to go for Coach King Giantrainer. Then for the 2-ofs, we're playing 2 Danger Nessie. I still don't really like this card at 3, but I know a lot of people love it at 3. It's just, I've said it before, and I guess I'll say it again right now, where I want my Danger monsters to do something guaranteed every single time. And I guess technically, while this does add another danger monster, there's no guarantee that the danger monster you add is going to be able to actually accomplish a goal, right? It's basically just giving you like another redo to maybe do something, as opposed to Jackalope and Tsuchinoko, which are always going to do something. But it's still perfectly fine. Then we're playing 2 Danger Mothman, which also perfectly fine. I just, you have to be a little bit careful with this effect, because while you are able to draw and discard if it gets discarded to the graveyard, that also means that you're giving your opponent the chance to draw something that they may need, right? And you can very easily turn one of their bad hands into something like incredible, especially if you just so happen to give them a card like Draw a Lockbird, which just completely stops your deck. So, while this card is fine, I don't really enjoy relying on it too much, but I still felt the need to bump it up to 2 just so that we could take advantage of all the danger aspects. And then for the final danger monster, we're just playing the 1 Danger Bigfoot because it's a level 8 and then it's a potential pop. I don't play Chupacabra just because I constantly found myself in situations where I would have the Chupacabra and nothing else, right? So that means that if the Chupacabra got discarded, which it typically did, it wouldn't be able to bring anything back, and you're basically just negging yourself for absolutely no reason. Even if it is like a fiend monster that you can banish off of gates, it's just very rarely worth it, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion, right? If you want to play it, by all means, go for it. It's up to you. Who am I to tell you what you can and can't use? Then that's it for the dangers. And then for the final monsters we're playing, we're still going to be rocking the Gen and Ken, even though I know a lot of you hate it. That's on you. I don't care. These cards are just way too ignorant not to play, right? As they're basically a second copy of ceruli that you don't have to special summon. As long as you, well, I mean, technically you are special summoning, but you don't have to special summon them, right? As the Gen, you just normal summon it, and then you give your opponent Ken, and then in turn, Ken will activate to give you 2 free draws and a free discard, which will also trigger all your secondary Dark World card effects. And even if that doesn't have resolve, like, you're still going to be baiting out a hand trap every single time, which is going to be greatly appreciated in a deck like this, which just wants as little resistance as possible. And with that, that's the monster lineup, and now we can finally move on to the spell and trap portion of the deck. Now that we're on the spell and trap portion of the video, I'm just going to briefly state, we're not playing any traps. This is literally an all or nothing deck, and if you do play traps, they're typically going to be in the side deck just so that you can floodgate your opponent after they floodgate you. I know, very interactive stuff. But even so, as far as the spells are concerned, there's only one card that we're going to be playing at 3, and that just so happens to be the Gates of Dark World, as it's going to be one of your main consistency pieces, as you just banish a fiend in your graveyard, then you discard a fiend, and typically it's going to be like a Dark World card, right? So that way you get the free draw, and then you get the bonus effect from your Dark World, and we just really value the consistency that this card offers you. Plus, playing 3 means that you can maximize cards like Genta a lot more easily than if you were playing 2, or playing bad cards like Zephyros, which don't really do anything besides give yourself a lose condition in time. But yeah, I really enjoy 3 Gates of Dark World, and that's it for the 3-ofs. And then for the 2-ofs, we're only going to be playing 2 Allure of Darkness. I know, it's crazy that you're only playing 2 Allure, because every other list that I've played has played 3 of them, and that list, or those lists, have had way less danger monsters than before. But I just really wanted to try some other stuff for the most part. And because we actually committed so many cards to the danger engine, that means that we pretty much had to make room somewhere, right? And the spot that made the most sense to me was, oddly enough, cutting down on the draw cards, which means that we're not going to be playing any upstart goblins in this list, unfortunately, because that's one of my favorite cards. But that's perfectly fine, just because the danger monsters do give us a little bit of a consistency boost anyways, that we don't have to entirely rely on cards like Allure of Darkness or Upstart Goblin to get our game plan across. but I can very easily see myself bumping this up to 3 and re-including the upstarts in future lists. So just for now, we're playing 2, and then to go with our 2 Allures, the only other 2 we're playing is 2 Dark Corridors. So normally I play this card at 1, but I opted just to try it out too, and honestly, it's perfectly fine. Like, you just add any Dark World card, then you discard a card, right? Really straightforward stuff. Sure, it's a hard once per turn, but typically if this card resolves, the game is basically over at that point anyways, because you're quite literally just getting access to whatever you may need in that certain situation. And while it is fine at 1, I did want to see it a little bit more. So yeah, 2, perfectly fine. And then for the rest of the spells, we're just playing a bunch of 1-ofs, being the 1 Dark World Accession to be able to fusion summon Grapha, the 1 Call by the Grave to stop annoying hand traps. We're playing the 1 Triple Tactics Thrust, which in turn allows us to typically get the Triple Tactics talent, as the hand loop off of Sillva typically only gets us the 4 cards. So through the thrust, we're able to get the 5th card with talent and just basically auto win the game right then and there. And then for the final spell, we're playing the 1 card destruction because we need some kind of bomb card that just auto wins us the game if it resolves. And card destruction just happens to do that. So with that, that's the main deck. Should be 40 cards like always. And now we can finally move on to the extra deck. Now that we're on the extra deck portion of the video, we're going to be starting off with the Link monsters first. And the first card we're going to be talking about is Akashic Magician, which is basically just used to put back Ceruli and Sillva back into your hand. Now, in order to actually do that, that means that you have to put the Ceruli and the Sillva basically right under the extra monster zone. Otherwise, this card doesn't do anything. But as long as you can manage that and make sure that your board doesn't get clogged, this card, it's pretty good because it quite literally just enables you to hand loop your opponent a second time and then ensure that you can win the game. Just be aware though that the monsters that you use do have to be the same type. So if you have like a lot of danger monsters and they're not the same monster, so you don't have like 2 Tsuchinokos or 2 Jackalopes or whatever, you can't use those to make this. You're typically going to be using like your Dark World monsters, so you do have to be a little bit careful when like deciding what monsters to summon, because it's very easy to just like clog your field and be unable to make this. So yeah, you just have to be constantly aware of that, right? Then for the other links, we're playing 1 Knightmare Phoenix just to be able to get rid of troublesome back rows, but it should probably be a Knightmare Cerberus if I'm being honest, just because there are a lot of situations where you want to make a Cerberus just to be able to blow up a card on your opponent's field as a special summon monster, as this means that you're going to be able to get rid of the ceruli and the Ken that you gave your opponent. And it's very easy to also get that card co-linked, so you get an additional draw, but yeah, Knightmare Phoenix perfectly fine. We're playing Muckraker from the Underworld to be able to bring back our Fiends from the graveyard. We're playing Dharc, the Dark Charmer Gloomy, to take our opponent's Dark monsters from their graveyard. Then we're playing the IP Masquerena as an end board piece to go into the SP Little Knight just to be able to banish a card and further cement the win in our favor. That's it for the Link 2s. We don't play any Link 3s, but if you did, I'd probably play like Nightmare Unicorn or something like that. And then for the Link 4s, we're playing 1 Saryuja Skuldred just because it helps us clear our board as well as get draws, just to be able to thin our deck a little bit more and get those key combo pieces a little bit more easily. And not to mention its other effects are still really useful as well. The boosting attack one, not so much, but the special summon from the hand actually does matter a lot, as you can pretty much just cheat out anything for the most part. And then from there, you're going to be able to go into your Exceeds or your Links a lot more easily, right? Because you have the fodder. Or say, for example, you just have a Dark World card in your hand. You can special summon that card, and then you're going to be able to bounce them back with like your Reign-beaux and your grapha just to replenish your hand and ideally do something impactful with it. So yeah, I love Saryuja in this deck. And then for the final Link monster, we're not playing a Baoku this time. I just opted to go with Underworld Goddess of the Closed World because there are some decks that just put up boss monsters that we cannot deal with reliably. Especially in the future where Super Quantum is getting support, and that deck is just it's basically just Towers Turbo. So if we can do anything to deal with like monsters like that, Underworld Goddess is basically the card. But it does have some uses as well, right? Just because we are able to clean up our opponent's board a little bit more efficiently, as we just take the monster that we give them and then link it off into this, and then yeah, like if this card is coming down, the game's literally just over anyways most of the time. So yeah, pretty solid. And then that's it for the Link monsters. And then for the Exceeds, we played the 1 number 60 Dugares, the Timeless, just to fix our little bit awkward hands by just drawing 2 and then discarding a card or bringing back a monster from the graveyard. We basically never use the pump attack, but that's perfectly fine. This is quite literally just like another consistency piece that allows us to dig a little bit deeper. Then that's it for the rank 4s, and then for the rank 8s, we're playing the 1 Coach King Giantrainer, as this deck pretty much takes forever with this turn, so you will be going to time eventually. And having something like this that allows you to draw as well as burn your opponent for some reason is just greatly appreciated. We play the 1 zombie vampire because there are certain situations where you have 2 level 8s and you just need to mill something in order to just get your engine going. And ideally what you would be doing with this, right, is like you summon the zombie vampire, you detach your grapha or your Reign-beaux, and then you hit a Dark World monster that you really want to like put into your hand, right? And then you just summon it with the zombie vampire, and then you bounce it back with your grapha or Reign-beaux, and then you just go to town from there. Plus, this card does also somewhat help you withdraw because it gets your resources into the graveyard, which obviously matters for a deck like this. And then for the only other rank 8, we're playing 1 number 90 Galaxy Ice Photon Lord because it's basically a monster negate, which does somewhat matter. So, you know, it's just like a really good, solid card to have in here. And then for the final Exceed monster, we're playing 1 Super Starslayer TY-PHON Sky Crisis because you're not always going to be able to go first, and you need something to be able to reliably break your opponent's board, especially if they're playing like Reign-beaux, for example, right? And this is pretty much the card to do it, so yeah, pretty solid. And that's it for the Exceeds. And then for the Fusions, we're playing 2 grapha, Dragon Overlord of the Dark World, because it's basically another pseudo negate, as it just changes the effect of your opponent's normal spells, normal traps, or monsters into your opponent discards a card. So you're basically negating their cards as well as getting able to discard one of your cards, and things do get out of hand. And even if like your board is like somewhat mediocre, this card is typically more than enough to be able to at least keep you in the game, especially if you're able to resolve like Sillva once or something like that. So yeah, 2 grapha, perfectly fine. Then with that, that's the end of the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya!